we are here with the dYdX Foundation. Actually, Turkish people are very familiar with dYdX. And now there is Charles from the dYdX Foundation. First of all, I want to ask about dYdX. What is the main goal of dYdX?
Absolutely. So dYdX was founded in 2017 by Antonio Giuliano, a former Coinbase engineer. dYdX is a decentralized exchange focused on perpetuals. So it's a derivative decentralized exchange. The mission of dYdX is to democratize access to financial opportunities. So today dYdX moves about $1 billion of trading volume daily. We celebrated in July this year $1 trillion of trading volume on dYdX. So it's a very big milestone for the community. And we are very, very excited. And that's one reason we came to Istanbul this week by the launch of the dYdX chain. So in the coming weeks, the dYdX chain will come to live and people will be able to migrate from Ethereum to the dYdX chain and stake, if they decide to, stake to secure the dYdX chain. And 100% of the fees will be distributed to validators and to stakers. So it's a very, very much a change of paradigm in the world of blockchain and DeFi, with a very successful application such as dYdX becoming a protocol and becoming his own chain.
dYdX sounds great. dYdX chain, I'm sorry. And what's the difference between dYdX chain and the other chains?
Absolutely. So dYdX chain is built out of the Cosmos SDK, and it has been customized for the use case of dYdX, which is perpetuals trading. So it's a chain which has been really totally optimized to increase the throughput, increase also the decentralization. So one reason we are moving to Cosmos and to the dYdX chain is to keep progressing into the decentralization roadmap of dYdX. So dYdX sitting on Ethereum as an order book off-chain on an AWS server. The new architecture of the dYdX chains allows us to decentralize the order book, to decentralize a matching engine, and that's really a great progress which was expected by the community. Also, the security of the chain will be provided by the token holders if they decide to stake, and the throughput, so the speed of dYdX experience overall will be improved. We expect more trading pairs, we expect better experience, so that's really the main advantages of the upcoming dYdX chain.
Actually, I guess the dYdX chain has a lot of differences than other chains. And what about DeFi? What do you think about DeFi in current market conditions?
So DeFi keep progressing. I think if we look at people like Uniswap, for example, which is an AMM, Uniswap started small and from zero, obviously. And Uniswap represents today more than 5% of the global volume of spot trading. If you look at dYdX today, the average daily volume on dYdX is about $1 billion, and dYdX represents 1%. So DeFi perpetuals and dYdX represent 1% of the total market of derivative in crypto. What is very important to capture is the crypto derivative market is 10 times bigger than the spot market. So it's a very important market. Every time there is one Bitcoin or Ether which is being traded in spot, there is 10, the equivalent of 10 Bitcoin or 10 Ether which are traded on derivative market. So the size of the derivative market is much bigger. So the potential of growth from 1% today for dYdX, representing 1% of the global market of derivative, is really upon us, and I'm very excited and very optimistic.
What about decentralization? Actually, I want to ask about what are the main challenges behind the complete decentralization?
Absolutely. So the dYdX chain will be run by validators. So there was more than 60 validators participating in the testnet. And in the coming weeks, those validators will bring to existence the dYdX chain. So it will be decentralized over first 60 validators and probably increasing to 100 plus in the coming months if the community decides to. So decentralization will be native on the chain just by the fact that there is so many validators. And some of these validators validators are coming from Turkey, and we are very grateful for that. The other things to consider is also in terms of decentralization, it's not only the validators, but it's also the core components of the application. So the application of dYdX is actually an exchange. An exchange like dYdX is an order book type of exchange, so it's not an AMM. And the order book on the dYdX chain will be also decentralized. So the order book will be sitting on the memory, the RAM memory of the validators. So the order book of dYdX will not be on-chain. It will be actually decentralized by sitting and being distributed within the 60 plus and more validators of the chain. So the decentralization is coming in two folds around dYdX. First, the number of validators, which are globally distributed, but also the order book, the core components of the exchange protocol, which is also distributed by sitting on the memory of those validators.
What about Turkish community? You are familiar with Turkish community, aren't you?
Absolutely. I was here 10 months ago for the blockchain week. I'm back here and I love so much Istanbul that I decided to bring all the team of the dYdX Foundation. So we came before the event. And we had like 2 days of just team building activities. We went to visit, we did a food tour. The food, it was fantastic. Everyone had a good time. We had great weather, great people. And we have very, very strong community here. From users, governance participants, validators. So we had to catch up with many friends, and that's why we came in Istanbul this week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.